Welcome back to season 2 of the Three Parallels podcast, where I help you to rediscover who you were, embrace who you are, and make room for who you're trying to become. On today's show, as you know, I got family coming, okay? And when family come in the building, we cut up, we come in and we cut up, okay? So we're just inviting y'all in. We do this all the time anyway, but we just letting y'all to get access. This particular brother that I'm going to introduce you to today is a man of multiple talents, gifts, and abilities. He has a heart, he has a passion to serve, to help. He has years of experience in this profession as a helping professional, as a professor, as a clinician, as an entrepreneur, as an AI specialist. I'm letting y'all know now. Y'all better grab his coattails because he finna fly. Me and this brother met several years ago when I was in a doc program, and I think it was the NBCC conference where we were introduced by Dr. Dickerson, who was also on the show, my sister from another mister. And she said, yo, y'all need to know each other. Huh? Here's an introduction. And she left. And we connected then. It was just energy. It was just love off the rip of, oh my God, another black man in this profession. Number two, oh man, you cool. You good people. Number three, you doing some things. I'm doing some things. Let's do some things together. And here we are now. Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to introduce you to one and only the Dr. Michael Jones. Welcome to the show, baby.
Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Glad to be here with you. Glad to be here with you.
That's what I'm talking about. So let's dive in. We ain't got a lot of time. So let's
Okay.
just get to it. I'm curious because for those who know you, know of you, and seen you moving, you made a big announcement recently. And this big announcement, I don't take lightly because I know what it takes to make this type of announcement. So I'm curious to know, you sharing you are about to pivot or you're pivoting and you're building and you're creating. If you could share with us, what does that look like? Where you were, where you are, and where you're about to go.
I got you. So I guess where I came from, I've been in this mental health space for 23, 24 years, which is it's weird even saying that out loud, but it's the reality. So I still remember my first graduate class and where I am today. And so I've been in a lot of different spaces in that time place, whether it was as a clinician or still running my own private practice, or and it's so I'm just kind of been showing up in a lot of different ways over the past 20 something years. And I'm finally at a point where I feel like, you know, whenever you first start in graduate school, one thing they talk about, what's your specialty area, things like that. And I wasn't thinking about specialty area. I was just trying to get this degree so I could take care of my family. That was the whole goal of, of even doing this whole thing. Is I wanted to be more effective in with my skills to be able to reach people. So that's why I became a therapist. But one thing I was learning is that a lot of the skills I had in my previous life, that now when I say previous, I've done everything. I've worked at McDonald's. I've done it all. When it comes to career, where I've been able to take all these skills I've had growing up and now be able to put them into my counselor education career. But I'm seeing beyond that. It's not just me as a counselor educator. I'm a teacher. That's who I'm as a person. It's like I see topics that are difficult. I like to break them down so people can understand them. And in the process of that, I like to bring on many people along the way who are curious about learning more stuff. And so, man, if I find people of a topic that we can have some same thoughts on, or a topic that we even look at similar or differently, I want to be in those conversations, and in a part of those conversations. Now I can say, okay, what are we going to do about this? So whether it was in my time in ministry, if it's a Bible class, or if it's me now, teaching people about private practice, or whatever the case may be, let's find the topic, let's break it down, let's get curious with it, and from that, I'm teaching and mentoring and receiving mentoring from other people too, and so it's just been a fun process, and so I'm trying to take those skills and abilities and life experience and figure out, okay, what does that mean for this next stage of my life? This is me. I've been teaching for 13 years full time now as in counselor education. Been like I said, been a clinician over 20 years. And the question now is, okay, you have these experiences. I'm still blessed with having a good mind. I still wake up every morning and can think straight. So the next question, okay, what do I do with all this in the time I have remaining here on earth, whatever that looks like, whether it's
Wow.
5 years or 15 years, what am I going to do and what am I going to leave behind with that time? And so that's kind of what the pivot for me is that I enjoy teaching. I enjoy working with other people, but I don't necessarily feel bound to be in in a counselor education role if that's not what I'm called to be doing right now, if that makes sense.
We already started. We already here. How do we start in the basement? Okay. How do we start in the basement? And I want to go back to something because I don't know too many people that went from McDonald's to counselor education. So out of all the things that you've done in the past, all the things that you've done, how did you end up here, like in the helping profession from the beginning? Like, how did that happen?
I would. It goes back to my parents. I would definitely say that. Both my parents are just absolutely amazing people. I'm a first generation college student. Both my parents attended college. They didn't finish. They were doing life. They were taking care of me and my brothers the best way they possibly could. And in all the things I saw them, the one thing that always was the equalizer was education, and that doesn't necessarily
Ooh.
mean formalized education. So
Hmm.
when from that perspective, they were always teaching me how to be a person and teaching me how to treat other people, and that is fed into everything I've done. So
Hmm.
when I see my dad and the work that he's done, he's been a minister for well over 50 years, and he's been in
Wow.
customer service. My mom's been in like human resource management, things of that nature. All they do is work with people, and not
Mm.
always easy people to work with. As a minister, my dad was
Mm.
working with people who have opinions about everything, and same thing with human resources. And so I'm seeing them come home with their stories and how they interact with people all day. And I'm like, even though my parents have went through this, they're still getting up, they're still doing the right thing. And even though there's frustration from all those things, they still know how to treat people the right way. And so
Mm.
that was just in my life. So whether I was working at McDonald's or bagging groceries at the grocery store or working at Applebee's and doing I've done so many different jobs. In all those roles, everything was about service and everything was about, hey, remember where you came from, remember how you were supposed to be treating other people and make sure that's the evidence. So whether you're the smartest person in the room or not, it doesn't make a difference. How are you treating everybody else? And so that has kind of put me into rooms where other people haven't had opportunity to be because I'm just going there trying to be a learner. And as I learn this,
Mm.
and once I learn your craft, I've got it in my head now. Now I'm figuring out what can I do with this to extend this out. So it's just been to me, it's just all this process has been me gathering information from other people, processing and say, okay, now that I understand it, how can I help other people understand it? So that's kind of led me from McDonald's to the counselor education space.
I love it. I love it. I love to hear people's journey because we all have it. We just don't share
Mhm.
it. And this is the space where we can. So I am curious because, and I'm sure you can attest to this, for a lot of us, specifically Black men,
Mhm.
but let's go a little outside to people of color in the helping profession, to be counselors, counselor educators, to get the master's, to get the PhD, to go into this academia space, which is an ivory tower. That's what we're taught. That's what we're told. That's what we see. And sometimes we get stuck in it. We assimilate, we conform, and we do what everybody else does, get tenure, retire, go live on a beach, or pivot to leave academia, which, in my opinion, is very rare. And I feel like you're doing a lot of different things, but that core of let me get my master's, let me work for a few years, then get the PhD, then work, then teach until death. You decided to take a different direction, and I'm curious to know how did you do that to go from a to bound to unbound? How did you do that?
I think a lot of it comes from the people who I've surrounded myself with over the past few years. That's helped out quite a bit because I feel like we're almost trained to be bound. When I think about my parents' generation, it was finding a good job, make sure that that job sustains you to a certain time period. You can take care of your family. Maybe you can go on a vacation too, whatever. But everything is still leading to being bound in that space of, okay, you need to if you do A B, it equals C in a day, and that gets you there. And for me, I'm kind of like, okay, what if I can still do all the stuff that I think is important, the stuff I feel led and called to, without feeling like I'm bound to having this person or this entity be the thing that engages me there. So, for
Mm.
example, when I consider the work I'm doing right now, I work with people. I've had to change my mindset. I don't work for people anymore.
Hold on, hold on, time out. Time out. I need y'all listeners. Listen, Gator Nation. I need y'all to hear this, brother. He just said there's another pivot. I need y'all to see these pivots. Working for someone versus working with. That's a mindset shift. Tell us more.
Well, when you think about working for somebody, there is this pressure of I have a certain standard I have to reach in order to make them happy or feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a lot of pressure and anxiety go with that because at the end of the day, I can do everything on the list that they have with the written stuff, and then there's also a bunch of unwritten stuff that they want me to do too. And the problem with that is I don't know how to fulfill the stuff that's unwritten because that's always changing. And so
Mm.
that's anxiety for producing. And it also makes me it's kind of hard to feel like I'm doing the right thing if I don't know where the lines are. So if you're saying if the line constantly moving, I can't catch up with that. Where if I change from working for somebody to working with, I'm showing up saying, here's my abilities. Here's what I'm good at. And if you
Yeah.
bring me on, if we're able to work together, you're not only do you get the brain, you get the mouth along with
Mm.
it.
Let's
Because
go.
those two things are inseparable. But if you can accept that, then my thing is I can also accept your brain and your mouth too. And at the end of the day, we're saying, here's our shared goal. How are we going to get there? And when I know I'm working with somebody, there's going to be some things I'm significantly better than them in some areas. And there's
Hmm.
places where that's just not my role. And
Yeah.
there's other
Yeah.
things where I know they're significantly better than me. But when we start coming together, we're working with each other. I don't have to worry about what I'm not good at because you're taking up that slack. We've already had the conversation about it.
Yeah.
We're both on the same page, and so it's like, hey, we need somebody to organize A, B, and C. Well, you know I don't do that. It's not a pride thing. It's just that is not my skill set. You don't need you
Yeah.
brought me on saying that's what my skill set is. So let me work in my skill set. Let you work in yours,
Hmm.
and if there's gaps in between, we'll figure out how to do those together. But then at the end of the day, we all grow from that process. And
Yes.
I can come in there without the anxiety, come in there without feeling like I'm not meeting up because all I'm doing is being me. And all you're doing is
Yeah.
being you. And now we actually get someplace together versus, well, if you're working for me, you to do A, B, and C. Well, for like I said, I'm too old for that. I don't want that pressure anymore. I want the freedom being able to say, this is how I show up. And if you
Mm.
can accept that, and that's not an excuse, it's just my reality. That's how I show up in this space. How are you going to show up in this space? And if we can both work on that, we're good. But to me, those
Yeah.
are conversations we have at the beginning and continue to do the whole process together versus this thing of the power differential. To me, that's what whenever we're trying to grasp power, everybody loses at that point. So
Ooh, wait.
I'm not trying to do a power struggle with you.
So, man, ooh, Dr. Jones, ooh. Listen, just know I kick people off that be doing this type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Just coming in, turning tables over, just changing perspectives and beliefs. I kick people off the show because it's a lot. I got to
Well,
be mindful
it
of
was
my
nice
listeners.
joining you. It was nice joining you.
Because you bring in so much heat. And to the listeners, if you are not writing this down, this is your opportunity. Get your notebook. If you don't have a notebook, the Gator Scales Journal is available for you now. Hop on Amazon, pick it up because these are gems, and these are gems that can change your life if you receive them. So I'm curious, Dr. Jones, because you have so much wisdom. You're so wise. All of these things that you're saying, some people never get to. And to me, it's not about age, it's about experiences. And I feel as though your experiences gave you this perspective. So I'm curious to know what would you share with the listeners who may not have that circle? Because you mentioned the people, you were surrounded with yourself with certain people. What if people don't have access to those people? How would someone go about shifting perspective to look at themselves as you look at yourself? I'm a person, I have skills and abilities, and allow me to help you in what you're doing versus I work for somebody and the rules are whatever they are. How would you help someone in that space?
I think part of it starts with, I guess, our sense of self is really important. I think in so many parts of life, there's always two extremes on everything. So
Okay.
if I say someone has a good sense of themselves, there's two different ends of the spectrum. One end of the spectrum is, man, you think way too much of yourself, way on this side over here. And the
Uh,
other end of the side is, man, you don't give yourself any credit for anything. And so the
mm,
problem is we're so afraid of the extremes that we don't even try in the middle. So my thing is
Whew.
I try to come to the table and say, you know what? These are things I know I'm good at. And I don't shouldn't have to
mm.
apologize to anybody for knowing I know what I'm good at. So if someone says,
Ooh,
hey, that's like someone's like, this public speaking, I know that's a skill of mine. And so I can step in that space, say, you know what, if you need somebody to speak on something, if I know the topic, I'm your person. Now, if
yeah.
they say we need somebody to run quantitative statistics on this thing, I'd be like, not it. That's not me. So, but it's just, I just think it's important for us to be able to say with confidence, I know the places that I'm good, I know the places that I have strengths in, and be okay with that. But sometimes it's like we downplay a lot of what we do because we're afraid of coming off and looking as if we're bragging. And it's like, it's not a brag. It's either it's a fact or it's not a fact, you know?
Ooh, ooh,
So if it's a fact I'm this, then
yes,
that's me. But if I'm not,
yeah.
then I'm not. And it's okay. And I feel like
Wow.
everybody steps to the table with certain things that they are strong in. And but we
Mm.
don't give ourselves enough credit even to do that. We're always talking about, wow, I don't do A, B, and C. Well, look, there's a lot of stuff I don't do, and that's okay. But I'm
Mm.
not sitting up at late at night worrying what I can't do. I spend my time worrying about, okay, the stuff I can do, how well am I doing it? And that to
Ooh,
me, that's where
ooh.
my shift kind of came for me.
Yes. Yes. Oh man, we finna go. We finna go there. You finna go too. I'm finna get you out of here. Okay. This is so good. It's so good. Okay, let's break this down. Because again, I'm curious. I'm speaking from a black male lens, black male perspective, and what you just shared again is life changing because it removes the bound. That's the theme. That theme is just working for us right now. So, how did you remove the bound of being a black man in America and having this confidence and comfort within yourself? Because that's what I hear. You've pivot. It's not looking outward anymore. It's looking at me and being able to stand on it. And you do that and you've done that. How did you get here? Or has this always been you?
No, it has not always been me. I th- I think it was a long time ago, and I can't pinpoint when the exact moment was. But I think growing up, I've heard so many different messages about what I'm supposed to be as a black man. And you,
Ooh, oh, time out. Time.
yeah,
You finna go. You finna go. Ah,
yeah. So
oh, you going there. You going there. We want to hear it.
whether it's positive or negative, because I mean everybody has a different viewpoint of what it is to be a black man, and
Yeah.
so there's a certain way you're supposed to talk. There's a certain way you're supposed to dress. There's a certain way you're supposed to date or be a relationship. So everybody has certain rules for what that's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And I will say for a long time, and I bought into that, where it's kind of like, well, I know this is what it's supposed to look like, but I like doing this over here. And I kept finding the spaces I was in, there weren't people who looked like me, but I was still 100%, I was still being looked at as a black man. So I was kind of like,
Mm.
either I could, so I finally figured out, I was like, it doesn't make a difference if they think I'm supposed to be here or not. I'm here.
Ooh, ooh.
I enjoy this, and I just happen to be a black man at the same time. And so you
Mm.
may have some stereotypical roles that you think I'm supposed to fit into, and that's great. Keep those stereotypes, but if you look at me, I'm going to break those. And so and so it's never been a thing where I've been purposeful trying to break stereotypes. It's just been a scenario where that happens over and over again to the point where I finally realized, you know what? Since you're breaking so many of those, let this just be who you are as a person, and don't apologize for it. Just be in a room. And I'll give you a very silly example of it, but that's what kind of sunk in. I was in high school, and I enjoyed acting, and so we did the play Grease, you know, the movie Grease with John Travolta
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all seen Grease before. There's no black folks in Grease in that movie. I'm just in case you didn't
Real
know that.
quick
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
listeners.
Just in case you. And so here I am in high school, and I'm trying out for a play where there's no black folks in it, and I end up getting the smallest of parts in it. But I played that part all the way I could. And when people came to the show, the thing I kept hearing was like, I didn't know there was black people in Greece, and just being funny, I said, well, how can you do something called Greece and not have black folks in it? You know?
True
And that was my mindset back when I was in high school, and that stuck out so much for me because I was like, I enjoy what I'm doing, and I'm not supposed to be here, but I'm still enjoying it. So why can't I find more opportunities to be in spaces where I enjoy it, whether or not I'm supposed to be in those spaces or not? And that was kind of for me. That was kind of the first thing I can remember where I was standing in a space where I wasn't supposed to be in there, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So now it's kind of like I'm gonna go where I need to and see what happens.
Oh man, this is beautiful. Please know you just removed some bounds from a lot of people listening because to the listeners, for all of you in Gator Nation who stand out, because you're outliers. If you listen to the show, especially regularly, you're an outlier because you think different, you feel different, you speak different, you are different. And what I'm hearing from you, Dr. Jones, is it's okay to be different. How do you view yourself? And what I also hear is facts and beliefs. And to simplify facts and beliefs, I look at equations, math. All right. This is most math we're going to do on this show. Two plus two is five. Two plus two is four. Dr. Jones, what you're talking about is 2 + 2 is 4, which is a fact. How do we know? It can be proven. 2 + 2 is 5 is a belief. You can't prove it. That's a stereotype. And you're able to speak facts about your life. I'm here. You can think whatever you want. And me being here means something because everybody's not here.
Hmm.
So, to all of you listening, being different is okay. Stand in it because that's what I heard that you've done, Dr. Jones. You stand in it.
Hmm.
Feel how you feel. Think how you think. Which which brings me to another space and place. I'm curious to know, was therapy a part of this? Like going to therapy, like where did this self-awareness and kind of standing on being okay with being different? Because that's rare as well. My assumption is therapy is in there somewhere, but it may not be. So I would love to hear, where did this confidence come from in your self-awareness?
We'll say before the therapy, no, just like a few other people in life, I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. And and the laughing like to make light of it is just laughing just that's just a reality now. And I feel like from just making mistakes in my life, that has helped me to realize, okay, I need to get help first of all, So
Mm,
that recognition was important. That okay,
mm,
I don't like the way things are. I don't like the person who I am right now. And so,
yeah,
and that was the hardest part. It's like I think being honest with yourself, I think it's that's the hard part. And once
for
you're
sure.
honest, now I got a choice. Like, do I still do I continue being the same person, or do I actually do something about it? And so I finally decided to do something about it. And so yeah, therapy has definitely been a big piece in that. I've been in therapy multiple times over the years, and that's been helpful. Also, I think my faith has been a big part of that as well. I know everybody has different beliefs on God, things of that nature. I would say my belief is that has been a big part of who I am, and it always will be because I know where my strength comes from.
Come on.
And I also know that I used to define ministry as being the person who is in the preacher or the pastor, however you want to call that. And
Yeah.
I just look at ministry being significantly different. Ministry is my perspective is we're spreading truth to the people that either want to hear it or don't want to hear it. And so
Ooh.
I'm here still doing ministry in through the diverse of counseling. And so when I
Mm,
step into the counseling classroom, or if I step in front of people, or if I put stuff on social media, I realize that I have responsibility for the things I'm about to say. And so if I have
yeah.
responsibility to that, who I am as a person has to shine through that. So my values have to shine through all those things, regardless of how much emotionally I'm caught up in it, whether it's politics, whatever. I know at the end of the day, I need to be okay with the things that I'm putting out there, but I also need to be okay in the relationship I have from where that stuff is coming from. And so that's where I feel like, yes, I'm still a minister, but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
my congregation is global at this point, and my
Mm,
congregation is anybody I run across, and it's that's to me that's been a beautiful transition because it's taken me out of the space of feeling like, okay, I can become all things to all people
yeah.
because I'm reaching people where they are right now. So if it's a
Yeah.
person, literally, if I meet you at the DMV and I sit beside you for 5 minutes, the interaction we have right there, that's a sacred space that can't be reduplicated. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a minister in that space right there and talk to you about the
Mm,
stuff I know about, and vice versa. We're gonna have communion. We're gonna have our thought process going together, and that may be the only time we ever meet. But it's like I feel like that is how I'm gonna show up in every space. Is that you're gonna who you see is what you get. I try not to be
mm,
a different person over here. I'm not therapist Michael one day, and then
yeah.
homie Michael. I'm just me.
Yeah.
I really
I
try to just be me, and I feel like that has been helpful in the relationship I have, and being able to be kind of moving in and out of spaces is just being okay with my good parts and also being okay with my flaws. And that doesn't mean I just don't want to change them. It's just I know my limits. And I think I think, and kind of going back to the original point, when you know what your limits are, that expands your boundaries significantly. Because I know what my boundaries are
mm,
because I know where I'm limited at. So if I'm good in these things, I'm good over here. If I know the stuff I'm
yeah.
not good at, I know that as well. But that consciousness and understanding of that helps me know, okay, this is how I'm gonna show up in all these spaces because
Mm,
I'm just not going to put something out that is not real. And I
yeah.
think is whenever you start doing that, it makes life so much easier. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah. So I want to go a little bit further because we in
Mhm.
this basement. We might as well play while we in here before we go upstairs to the kitchen because you finna cook. I'm finna let you cook. Okay. I'm curious. Again, wisdom, knowledge, what you're sharing. I hear it, I sense it, I feel it. And it's a level of authenticity that is rare. It's a level of emotional intelligence that's high. It's a level of maturity and knowledge of self that, as I mentioned before, a lot of people never can reach. So it sounds like you've done a lot of work over the years, a whole lot of work. And I'm curious to know the other pivot of putting so much energy and time, especially working in the ministry, your dad been in the ministry, where you're constantly helping, you're constantly supporting, and it's external. But you did that, and then you flipped to do the internal work that got you here. And now you integrate both. And I want to share something real quick. To go to the, I need y'all to understand, name one time you went to the DMV and had a great time. Okay. So that's number one. You not only went to the DMV, but you're going there and you're pouring into somebody or pouring into people. It's a great example because it's something you've done. It's something you do. That people can't do that. How did you find a way to move away from external, I got to help and save the world, to wait a minute, let me save me. And while I'm saving me, what's left, I'll give it away.
Mhm.
This is next level, Dr. Jones. Let's talk about it.
And I like using stories because I feel like that's the best way to teach other people. It's a very simple concept. And if you've flown on a plane before, they say, in case of emergency, you can secure
Mm,
your own mask first before you help out, before you. And I take that seriously, that I really can't be of help to anybody else if I'm not healthy and working on myself, because I will always be pouring from a facade of something being taken care of. So because there's been such a chunk of my life was focused on optics. Things need to
mm,
look a certain way. Now, it doesn't make a difference
mm.
if behind the scenes they were actually matched up to it. The image needs to be there, and if the image
Yeah,
is there, we can figure out how to get there. But that didn't work. So now it's like,
hmm,
let's not worry about the image. Let's worry about the thought processes and the actions. Because if I'm focusing on what my thoughts are and the why behind everything, and if I focus on how am I treating other people, that ends up working out everything else. I don't have to worry about how I show up then, because I
yeah.
I, I showed up in that space the way I was supposed to, versus
Ooh,
the image of. So let's go back to the DMV thing real
yeah,
quick.
yeah,
If the in my image in my head, I'm like, well, I got to make sure when I get out there that people see a loving and caring person, and I'm going through all these things. I'm just playing a role at that point. I'm acting.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we're good at acting, all of us are. And I'm just,
Facts.
but it's tiresome because I have to, because you didn't have to keep up with, when I was with Jason, how did I act here? And when I was with this person, how did I
Mm,
act? And there was too many years of that. Now it's kind of like I don't have to worry about what a perception was. Now I can just show up and be who I am. And if they say, well, that's outside of your character. Well, they would know that if you have 10 different examples of working with me,
yeah.
they all should line up.
Mm.
But if you have
Ooh,
10, but there's 10 different pictures of me, and 10, then that's not character. I mean, when I'm talking that is character. That is a character you're playing. That's not
yeah.
true character. And so I'm just
Ooh,
trying to make sure that when you take a snapshot, you're gonna be able to see
yeah,
if the bigger picture of it is there's consistency between all those things. Yes. Am I still have a bad day? Absolutely. I have
yeah,
bad days.
yeah.
But more often than not, what you got on Tuesdays, we're probably gonna get on Sunday, because I just want to show up in those spaces the same person.
Oh man, I love this. Please know you healing me. Okay. I don't know what you're doing to these listeners out here. I don't know what y'all getting from this show, but you healing me. You helping me, because these are the conversations that we often don't get to have or we don't see. And this is the internal stuff. This is the basement work. So I really appreciate you allowing us in the basement. Now we're finna go in the kitchen because you're finna cook. You mentioned global, and I agree with you 100% because you are global. And this new wave, this new entity that we're all experiencing in real time related to AI,
Hmm.
there's, as you mentioned before, in extremes. I feel as though all of us are looking at AI in extremes. Either, oh my God, robots going to take over, or oh my God, this is an opportunity. And I view that you looked at AI not only as an opportunity, but how do I maximize the opportunity that's
Hmm.
coming because it's not going anywhere. And for me, I look at AI just like I look at Uber. When Uber first started, folks lost their mind. Oh my God,
Hmm.
I'm not going to get in the car. Oh my, strangers and people. And now what do? Uber everywhere. They got a song about it, right? And it's on the playlist. So check out the playlist. The Three Parallels podcast playlist. Uber everywhere is on there. Hop on, check it out. So how did you decide that this new wave, even we're still learning about it, but you grabbed the bull by the horns and now you're building an empire around it. If you could share with us, what are you working on? What are you building? And how can people be less afraid of what we're not aware of yet?
I'll start with the part of the question out, and if I don't get it all, just let me know.
Oh, we good.
Yeah, I'll say what I've noticed. So for the past couple of years, I've just like I would say most people, just kind of looked at AI, just figure out what in the world is this stuff, you know? So when Chat GPT first came out, I didn't mess with it. I didn't know what it was. I'm over here doing life, you know? But for the past 2.5 years, pretty solid. I got to a point where I was using it quite a bit, trying to figure out, okay, what is this thing anyway? How's it work? And the deeper I got into it, I realized, okay, this stuff has actually been around for a while. I just didn't recognize it, you know. So when Netflix is asking me, "What are you still here?" or
Yeah,
or do you want
yeah.
to watch this next movie, or things like that, it's just AI. It's making predictions on your past experience. It's like, so I act a certain
Mm,
way, it gives me this certain output, and so as I start seeing that come up, there, I was okay. I can rock with this. So I just kind of been messing with it from that perspective. And I would say the past 6 to 8 months, where my focus has been is okay. For some people to say, okay, I don't want to use AI at all. That no, that's going back 20 years from now. Going back 20 years and say, you know what? I just don't want to mess with the internet. You know, I just that seems scary. I don't want to mess with that, and so I'm just not going to get on that. And I just don't know people who don't mess with the internet. I mean, I
mm.
don't know how you live. Now, that's some people. I'm sure they do, but
Yeah,
for the general part, you use it because it's just a part of everyday thing. And
yeah.
so AI is the exact same way where it is integrated in so much stuff. The problem is, and I've used an example with my students, is we've gotten to a point where we have allowed it to take over our thinking process. And so we use it as we're not using it as a tool it was meant to be. You know,
Mm,
so it's almost like imagine if everybody got to, my dream car, which I love, it's a Toyota GR86. Love that car. So it's an amazing car. It's not the best thing in the world, but it makes my favorite. Anyway, so this one,
okay.
man, everybody has the exact same sports car. You know, it can go, everybody can go 200 miles per hour. That's what the capability of this vehicle is. But we'll all have the exact same power, but I'm trusting that when I go on the road that Jason has practiced with this vehicle. He's driven all the different types of weather. He knows how it works. But that's my assumption. But I can't assume that. You just think the car's pretty. So you just
Ooh.
want to get behind the wheel and just go 200. But the problem is we're in this information highway where everybody has the same capabilities, but we all have different ways of understanding it. And so that causes chaos when we're trying to balance it out. So the problem I'm seeing is that we don't know how to use this tool in a way in which it's going to be beneficial to us, but also have to think about we have to use it in a way that's going to be beneficial to other people around us. And so we
Mm,
can't separate that because we're a lot of our process is like, how does it affect me? Well, yes, it can affect me that, but none of us are in a bubble. Everything I do
mm.
affects other people. And
Ooh,
so,
ooh,
so
hold on,
if,
hold on. You finna go. I'm finna get you
yeah,
out. Finna get you out. Everything that we do affects other people.
it does.
Get
And
it. Let's get there. Let's go there.
that's not that's not really our mentality. You know, we're very independent oriented. Where I do this, I'm the king of my own castle. We kind of have all those sayings, but there's not a lot of reality to that because if I go out today and literally get in my car, go 100 miles an hour down the interstate, I can't say, well, it's just me driving. No, it's me and everybody else in the roads, and I'm affecting people. So I can't move independently. So AI is the same way. It's the products that we're creating, whether it's software or it's information that we're putting out there. If I don't have a unified way of knowing how to put that information out there, then I'm making it dangerous for everybody else. And so, for example, I know Auburn, correct? You went to Auburn.
All day long,
I
baby.
remember.
War
Yes, I
Eagle.
remember that. So
War
yeah.
Eagle.
So so for example, let's just say for instance you went to Chat GPT, and I hope this makes sense. If you go on there, GPT and say, "Hey, tell me the reason why Auburn is the best college football team in the nation,"
Mm,
you've already told it what your end of outcome is. You've already told it
mm,
that when and it is results, it needs to tell you why Auburn is the best because that's what you're looking
mm.
for.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
if I approach it and say, listen, I'm trying to learn more about football, and I'm a big SEC fan. So helping to
Mm,
understand SEC football and who's when it comes to offense and defense, who are the leaders in that? Those are
mm.
two totally different prompts.
That's good stuff. That's good
But
stuff.
yours is going to tell you everything you need to know about Auburn. It's going to and it's going to have to do a lot of hallucination. No, I'm a Tennessee fan. Anyway,
Come on. I'm gonna
but,
take it. I'm gonna let you have it. I'm gonna
yeah,
let you have
but
it.
it's going to have to do some hallucinating to get to the end result that you want to have. Versus mine's going to have more significant information there because the way I prompt it. The problem is when you have a majority of people who are prompting in the way I'm saying proposing that you did, the output is not going to be correct.
Wow.
And so,
Wow.
and all that's doing is the more people who go in there who have an end result they're looking for, and they're
Yeah.
not researching to make sure the information you pull from is actually correct, we're putting negative stuff, wrong information back into the system, and it's just feeding off of wrong over and over
Oh
again. So it's
man.
like, how do you get a good answer from something if you don't put it to start off the right way? So I've been looking at the ethics of the process we have before I approach AI. What process do you go through before you even use it? So I have like this ethics of no a values chart that came up with it. If for everything in my life, but we'll get to the part this room in a minute. But for everything I do, I have a values chart. Okay, here are my values that I have. And so if I'm going to do anything counseling wise, AI, whatever the case may be, it has to flow from these values. And
Mm.
so before I do a prompt, or if I even choose to use AI, it has to match my values. So if one of my values is making sure that I'm not overusing resources I shouldn't use, because AI uses a lot more resources than everything else does. That means I'm not going to go on there and have a debate with ChatGPT about why the sky is not blue. I don't need to do all that stuff
Mm.
because that's just wasting resources for no good reason. Or,
Mm.
I like making pictures, but I purposely don't do a bunch of that stuff on there because I know how much resources it use. But that's the process I'm using to make sure that my value if it's a value-based decision-making model before I even get into using it. And that way, when it comes to me, whether it's in research or whether it's in me having conversation with people, my values are embedded in that. And my thing is, like, I think ethically as clinicians or just as people, we want to make sure, since this is going to be affecting globally everybody else, why don't we have our own personalized processes? And so
Mm.
I think if we all of us focus on the process, we'll end up getting a better product. But right now, everybody's focused on the product at the end of the day. So it's like, give me this. Well, if you ask for it, just like the Auburn thing, it's going to give you what you want. Doesn't mean the
Exactly.
product's good. So my
Yeah.
thing, that's to improve the process so the product gets better.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
shut up now.
No, you're good. You're good. Y'all hearing it here first, okay? This is Dr. Jones. He is growing into this AI space, and to me, he's going to be somebody you're going to hear about. You're going to see about. It's going to be hard to see AI, especially in this space, without seeing Dr. Jones and the team and the empire that he's building. I can see it. Greatness sees greatness. I need y'all to know that, okay? And if y'all still blind, keep watching, okay? Keep listening, keep paying attention, because I feel like you just did a mini masterclass on AI. And for the listeners, Gator Nation, y'all know now, hey, I can look at AI differently from someone who studies it, from someone who's learning about it, from someone who's using it beyond for what we think it's for or what we want it to do. And what I hear the theme underneath all of that, not only with ethics, is curiosity.
Hmm.
So you're coming in with curiosity versus coming in with facts. Two plus two is five, which is a belief that
Hmm.
Auburn's the best ever. Why? Because my lived experience. So even if they suck, which they do at this point, I'm still a I'm still a fan, but I'm not delusional. Like you said, they're gonna AI gonna make up something, and it will. But in reality, that's not real. But it's going to give you the output that you like because you told it to. And going back, like you're being able to define AI as a tool, as a resource, as support, not as the entity, because we are the entity and we pour
Exactly.
into this product. Oh man, beautiful. Beautiful. Now, before you get out of here officially, because you're just finna get kicked off, you just giving too much. You hitting everybody in the head with a honey bun. AI generated. All right, so let's go. Let's go. Finna go to the living room now. I told y'all he was finna cook. Told you he finna cook. Glorilla is in the building. All right, so I got a couple more questions before we get out of here, and we're gonna hang out in the living room. First question: if you could describe three versions of you, the old you, the current you, the future you, how would you describe those three versions?
Hmm. I would say the old me constantly afraid of making a mistake. That that
Okay.
that was the old me. I would say the current me is acknowledges the fact that I'm going to make mistakes.
Mm.
That's
Oof.
probably yeah. Yeah, and I would say future me, uh, what I'm growing into is being a person that not only do I acknowledge what my mistakes are, but also working to make sure that I'm a person who can accept feedback in a gracious way, so that I can so that the mistakes, if they, as they do come out, they be less egregious. If that makes any sense. So yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. I love it. Y'all getting some gems over here. Okay. This is a masterclass. Okay. On self-awareness, self-care, emotional intelligence, the whole nine. I'm curious to know who is or was your hero.
I would say my dad. I would hands down, and both my parents. So I mean equally, but I would say for my dad, just I know that a real quick example.
Yeah, you good.
Um,
You good.
Everybody knows my dad, whether you know he's my dad or not. You know my dad, and so why I say that is any space that he goes into, people remember their interactions with him. I can vividly remember a time in elementary school. It's time for school to go back, and it's school supply night. Y'all know how it is.
Yes, indeed.
Maybe it's a week before school starts, or a couple of nights. You gotta get those school supplies, and so we're at
Hmm.
Walmart. We're getting school supplies, and a guy knew from back then. Him and his family, they were looking for school supplies, and my dad heard they were looking for school supplies just like we were. And he left with he's walking them around Walmart to help them find school supplies, and so.
Wow.
The next day, a couple days later, school, somebody was like, "Hey, I remember your dad helped me at this stuff." He's like, "How long has he been working at Walmart?" I was like, "My dad doesn't work at Walmart. That's my dad." And
Yeah.
so he's always been a person. What I would say I'll take from him is customer service. He always want to make sure if there's something an information you need, he's gonna make sure you find it. That's just
Mm.
so I would say that's where I got that from him. And then from my mom, I would definitely say I got my ability to know how to deal with people.
Mm.
My mother, she's one of the funniest people I've ever met in my entire life. And how and with her working in human resources, how she deals with people. Now, in human resource, you deal with the good, bad, and the ugly,
Yes, indeed.
but
Yes,
she's
indeed.
consistent all the way through. And I've
Mm.
just learned a lot because she doesn't always give her opinions on things until she feels like it's necessary. And
Mm.
that doesn't sit naturally with me. I've had to learn to do that because I'll give you my opinion regardless. But I had to learn. But she has taught me how to be measured. So I guess heroes wise, I've got the being measured, but also being customer service. I got that equally from my parents.
I love it. I love it. Shout out to your parents, both of them. I love these stories. I'm a storyteller as well. And to me, we all are. We
Hmm.
all are. We all tell stories. The difference
Yes.
is we're intentional about it. So thank you for sharing that story. Thank you for shouting them out. I am curious because now we're talking about people from birth to where you are now, because you've seen a lot and you've been in a lot of different spaces, customer service, just dealing with people, managing people. What have you learned about people over these years? What do you know about people that you didn't know before?
I don't think it really, and this has been something a very recent revelation. So I want to make sure I say that. For as much as I go through in my own life, and I don't mean that in a negative way, it's just a reality. We all have this life, from the time I wake up in the morning to when I go to bed, to the stuff I dream about. There's a lot of stuff going on in my life. And I know how the things I need to do personally in order for me to be able to show up in the spaces. The fact that how I'm even showing up in this interview right in this podcast right now, or when I'm meeting other people, I know the mental preparation it takes for me to get there. And so because of that, it puts me into a default mode of I'm going to allow space and grace for other people when they show up because I sincerely do not know what process they had to go through to show up. Like for you, there's no telling what happened this morning for you, just for you to be here right now. And
True
so
story.
if the interaction I have with you doesn't go the way I'm expecting it to, I'm working on trying to get rid of the expectation of how stuff is supposed to go.
Mm,
And I'm also working on saying, okay, because it's happened in space, how do I deal with this in a way that still honors my stuff, that honors theirs, because we all have a story. And so I just being open to learning about other people's stories and finding those things that help me to connect with other people. That's to me, that's what I've learned about people. If I can find some, if you just gotta give me one thing that we have in common, one
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk. We're going to have a conversation.
Mm.
And at the end of the day, I don't have to agree with you. You don't. I don't. We have this whole thing of agree to disagree. That to me, that's just a funny saying anyway. It's like
Mm.
I've never met anybody I agree with ever in my entire. I've
Mm.
never met anybody who I agree with 100%. So it's like let's get rid of the whole thing of agreeing to disagree. Let's just say we have differences.
Ooh, that's a bar.
Yeah, yeah,
That is a bar.
yeah, we all have differences, and
These are
just
facts.
acknowledge that, and just move forward from that. But I just think we kind of get that mentality of I'm just gonna agree, disagree with you. Why say that a lot? The reality is, at the end of every conversation, even if we have 100 things we're on the same page on, there's gonna be some things we disagree on. But let's focus on the stuff that we agree on. But also, the stuff we don't agree on is something that's important to relationship wise. Probably going a little bit further on this one, but if that thing that we're different on is going to affect our relationship, that's not something we can agree to disagree on. That's something we need to
Mm.
actually
Ooh.
work through for the purpose of the relationship.
Pastor Jones, Pastor Dr. Jones, listen, this collection plate finna go around because you you say you in the ministry differently. No, you still in the ministry because you're giving so much, man. That's this is again, this is our norm. We're
Mhm.
beneath the surface. We the soft white underbelly, right? We are able to go into places and spaces because of who we are, and it's not the norm from my limited experience. And these conversations, to me, you are giving people permission to consider things differently.
Mhm.
Even for me, this agree to disagree. I love your perspective. I'm finna get rid of that because I've said it. I don't say it often, but I've said it. But what I'm hearing you say is that's not even relevant. Shut up. That's what I heard you say. It's not relevant. Why even bring that up? Because, and I want to dive into this just a little bit. For what I'm hearing is I'm bringing it up because I'm trying to stop the conversation instead of learning more or accepting we may not see eye to eye on this, but there's other things that we can talk about. So when you say, for the most part, when someone says I agree to disagree, I'm trying to end being uncomfortable right now.
Yes,
Come
I
on.
love that. Yes.
Come on. Whew. Hey, listen, I ain't come here for this. You. I'm just facilitating. All right, couple questions we're gonna get out. Next thing, I'm curious because I would love to hear what you're gonna say because you are a wealth of knowledge and always have been, and I love that about you because you just have it and you don't mind sharing it. You're not a gatekeeper. So if there's a word, phrase, memory, or moment that has stuck with you personally or professionally, what would that be?
Hmm. And something yeah, this is another recent thought. We have to, well, I don't, yeah, I'm gonna quit using have to words. I'll say it with my chest. Stop waiting for the praise of other people in order to be great.
One more time for the folks in the back. One more
Stop
time.
waiting for the praise of other people in order to be great. And I think that goes back to the whole thing about being bound. There's such a mentality of I really can't be who I am until I have someone else on the outside confirm that for me through likes or follows or. And my thing is like, why? Like
Mm,
I'm me, and I don't have to have
yeah,
anybody else to confirm. No, you're a good dude, or you're this or that.
yeah,
I don't need that from you. I want you to
yeah,
respect
yeah.
me.
Come on,
I'm,
come on.
I'm going to respect you.
Yeah,
I want you to be able to acknowledge what I bring to the table because I'm going to do the same thing for you. But I don't need for anybody else to say, "Hey, you're a good person," or "You're doing this." I mean, is it nice to hear? Yeah, it's great.
yeah,
But my ability to be great and my ability to do things for other folks is not depending on someone else recognizing that. And I think if you're waiting for someone to give you an award or acknowledge that first, then you're wasting a lot of time that could have been spent on actually doing the work you're supposed to be doing. So I'm just gonna do the work. If the recognition comes, great. But I also don't. Once again, I don't have to have somebody tell me it because I'm good. I mean, there's just things I've been down this. I'm him on there's certain things.
come
I'm
on,
him. Yeah.
come on. Let's go.
Yeah, and for all of us, I think, and I literally believe that for every person, you are him or her, or however you identify,
Yeah,
that's you,
all day long.
and that's okay to be there without having to parade for it. So that's I just
Ooh,
just be confident in that.
I love it. This is Gator Talk. Okay. I need y'all to know this is Gator Talk because Gator Talk is knowing who you are. Again, three parallels: who we were, who we are becoming. When you are striving towards becoming that person, that is him, capital Him. That is her, capital Her. And I ain't talking about the R&B singer with the guitar, capital Them, them. I know who I am. I don't need the praise, but I like it. So if you give it to me, it's just gonna take me up another notch, but I'm good anyway. It's kind of like cologne. I already smell good. I just add a little bit to take me to the next level.
Yeah.
Last thing we can get at. No, I'm sorry, two more, two more. I'll
Okay.
be wanting to stop, but I just love what you're talking about because everything you're saying hits for someone. And I just want you to keep hitting. Okay. Two more, and then we gonna let it go. I'm curious because I learned something about you as well I didn't know about being a thespian. I see you out here in these artistry streets and being an actor and being great at it. So great that folks want to look at Greece differently. Another conversation for another day. What's something or unique fact or interesting fact that people wouldn't believe or know about you that that you're willing to share?
Hmm. Yeah, and it may sound silly. I just enjoy people. Like I enjoy hearing people's stories, and that's I know it may sound very basic, but it's just my reality. I just like learning more about other people, especially when their experiences don't match up with mine. I think
Mm,
that'll be an interesting thing to say about me,
yeah,
because it's very rare I find myself in spaces where I can't learn something about somebody else. And
yeah,
I enjoy that, whether
yeah.
it means I'm in Nicaragua doing mission work or it's me literally down the road at the Walmart talking to somebody. It's just, I like finding out about other people's experience because whenever I in those spaces and I go in that space as a learner, I walk away with so much, and I may never see that person ever again. But that
Mm,
moment in time that we spent with each other, I've grown some. I hope they've grown as well, and I can walk away saying I know more about life because I've tapped into what they just had to say, and I didn't have to experience that to learn from it. And so, yeah, that's just I
yeah.
enjoy that aspect of it. So whether it's like I said, any experience, I'm just gonna eat it up because that's fun to me.
I love it. I love it. No shade, no disrespect. This is different. And I want you to own that. Like own it. This is what I like. This is what I enjoy. Own it, period. Because this is another thing. Yeah, it may not be what everybody else does, but it's what you do. And last
Mhm.
time I checked, you are Him. So, last question, which is not even a question. This is you doing what you've been doing the whole show, sharing of yourself. This portion of the show is called life work. We don't do homework here. Homework, take it home, do it, never remember it again. Life work, you do it, your life can change forever. So if you can offer something to the audience, to the Gators, Gator Nation, anything that can help them to consider to pivot or be unbound, what would it be?
I would say. Before you do anything, understand your reasoning behind it.
Mm,
And yeah, I mean, I'm gonna make it simple. Understand your reason behind the things you want to do. We Many of the reasons why we feel stuck sometimes is that we don't look at the choices we have. And I'm a reality therapist, choice therapist. That's kind of that's my groove. I just think we need to look at what choices we have. And sometimes the choices we get aren't the ones we want. But there's
mm,
still choices. I've just seen so many situations where people say, "Well, I have to do A, B, and C." I'm like, there's very few have tos in life. It's just
So real quick, this
yeah,
this is happening in real time.
yeah,
I had an internet moment where it was a pause, so I
oh, no
didn't hear
problem.
the initial. So if you don't mind running
Yeah,
that back, what you want to offer to the audience because we
okay, no
missed it. I want to
problem.
make sure everybody get what you got.
Oh no, you're good. You're good. No, looking at the choices we have in life. I'm a reality therapist, choice therapist. That's how I've kind of focused my life. Is I feel like in every situation we're in, we always have a choice. Then it comes down to what choice we end up making. So, and it doesn't always mean I'm going to agree or like all my choices, you know. So if I'm working with somebody with this therapy or just in personal life, and they're like, "Hey, I don't know what to do," or I had to do A, B, and C. Like, did you have to, or did you choose to do that?
Ooh.
And they said, well, what do you mean choose? It's like I said, just kind of said, did someone threaten you if you didn't do A, B, or C? No, they didn't. But I felt like I had to. I said, well, your feeling of it is one thing. The action of choosing is what you did. So you may only, in this situation, you may only get choice A, B, and C, and
Yeah.
you may not like A, B, or C. So your choice is either you're going to choose one of those three, but there's also a D, and D means you're just going to stay right here where you are too. But that's still a choice. And so and so it's just I really it really a lot of it comes down to us looking at life as choices and realizing there's not a perfect one.
Come
And so
on.
if we are focused on so much of doing what is the right thing, there is no right. And I'm taking that away from the moral aspect. Of what I'm saying is there's not a right A, B, or C. It's more of if I choose this, here's a consequence, and consequences are positive and negative, So
Yeah.
here's a positive that can come from this, and here's the things that can hurt me that come from this. Once again,
Yeah.
I may not get to choose what those things are,
Yeah.
but I got to make a choice. And one of the
Oh yeah.
choices maybe I'm gonna stay stuck, but you're
That's
making
for
that
sure.
choice. And so I just think we just us looking at our opportunities and the choices before for us and make a choice in those things and see it through to the end. And like I said, it may not be the way exactly what it needs to be, but I think it takes away from some of that learned helplessness we can sometimes get into if we are focusing on I'm choosing to do this. Because if I say there's a big difference between saying you made me do this, which that may not be true, versus me
Yeah.
saying I chose to do that. So I'm taking some responsibility in that part of it. And with that responsibility, I realize, hey, if I do this, this may be the outcome of it, but I know what I'm stepping into at least.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for blessing us. Thank you for your ministry. Thank you for your truth, your authenticity, your transparency, your emotional intelligence. Dr. Jones, you are a gem. You are a gift, man. And I really appreciate you. I don't take it lightly. And I also want to share with the listeners, Dr. Jones and I we are a part of a men's group that's called Destination Helpers. And this is the first time I'm putting this out there for the public to know. Now, this is an invite only group. No shade, no disrespect. So this is this invite only group. It ain't for everybody, but it's for the people who are there, and Dr. Jones happens to be another member of this group. And this group will grow in different ways, spaces, and capacities. And I'm just thankful to be partnered with you on this journey called life. And sometimes we don't know how great we are, even though we know we're great in our own right. For me, to you, you are a gem because of who you are. What you've done, what you're doing, what you're about to do is helping so many people directly and indirectly. And to me, that's everything. This is why we're placed here to serve. This is my belief. I'm entitled to it. Two plus two is five. We're placed here to serve. We're placed here to use who we are and what we have to help other people. Because why would we be in the positions and the seats that we're in if we didn't have somebody who was willing to give us themselves? So, without further ado, I want to offer you to the audience. So, for anybody who want to get in contact with you, reach out to you, give you some flowers, take you to lunch, hang out with you at the DMV, how can they get in contact with you? And please promote any products and services that you have or that's coming.
I think the easiest way, just had my new training website launch. It's called the Counselor Education Collective. Basically, what we're trying to do with the Counselor Education Collective, we want to be a one-stop shop for your mental health needs, whether you're a counselor or you're a counselor educator or just want to learn more about mental health. We've started putting a few classes out there, but we're focusing on quality over quantity, which means we're putting out stuff probably every couple of weeks, new trainings and things of that nature. But the whole purpose of it is to make sure that if you're a counselor educator or a counselor, if you want to learn about AI, we have trainings on that. If you are trying to do the NCE or the CPCE, take that test at some point. If we don't have it right now, we're about to have test prep for those. If you want to get your clinical supervision license, we're going to have that. So basically, we want to be a place where if you're anywhere from a student through a seasoned counselor education educator, and you want to go to a place where you can get more skills, we want to be the person that does that for you. And we could do consultations with organizations as well. So and also universities too, telemental health training. We do a lot of stuff, and so it's good stuff. Work with excellent people, and in the collective part of this, we like working with new partners. So if that's the interest of yours, reach out.
Done and done. And this is real because you listen to this and you listen all the way to the end. Use the affiliate link or coupon code Gator Mode for a discount. This is happening in real time. Dr. Jones didn't even know this was going to happen, but it's happening now because this is what community looks like. So he already told you the deal. You know ahead of time. You know ahead of what's being built and what's being created. And this is a collective that I will stand behind 100% because of who's doing it. And if you want to go to if you want to go hang out and dance with such and such in the video, go this direction. But if you want to come to death row, with Dr. Jones comes death row. This is the collective. And to me, this is the new wave. This is the new energy. They are doing some phenomenal work in this profession, personally and professionally. And you may want to get you a ticket now. I'm telling you, this is the lowest it's going to be. I'm telling you now, what they're doing has not been done before, and it hasn't been done because of the team, the partnerships, and connections that they have. So take advantage of it. Again, the code Gator Mode. I'll give you details when that time comes, but I need y'all to know what just happened. And to me, what just happened is we threw a pebble in the pond that's going to create ripples. Those ripples are going to go all the way to the banks, all the way back. And you're a part of it because you chose to invest in yourself by listening. So, any other thoughts, final thoughts, anything to conclude before we close this thing out today?
I'm good. I just appreciate you being on here, and I appreciate just you being you. When you mentioned the NBCC from way back, I literally I can remember the moment I met you, and
Yeah,
it's been absolutely awesome since then. So just glad to know you, and just looking forward to whatever comes up the road for both of us.
absolutely. We're gonna see it because we're here.
Hmm.
Oh, wait a minute, time out. I don't know if we can or not. But again, this is why we're here. I want to promote you. I want to put you out there because you didn't mention this, and I want to mention it. You have a book coming soon.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
we ain't finna just let that be quiet. Can we talk about this book real quick before we get out
Yes,
of
yes, really quick.
here?
Dr. Kent Butler, and if anybody, if you're in counselor education world, you know Dr. Kent Butler, amazing man, former ACA counseling, American Counseling Association president, a former president there. We've been authors co-editing a book called Black Men and Mental Health, a mixtape of harmony and hardship. And what happens in this book is we look at Black men from several different aspects. We have 12 different chapters in the book, and each chapter of the book talks about how certain things affect Black men. So, for example, there's a chapter on Black fatherhood where we look at Black fatherhood and the mental health aspects of it. So, the first half of every chapter looks at the research, what the statistics are saying, things about that. But in the second half of the chapter is the practical application. So, we have school to prison pipeline. We have stuff on Black marriage. So many different topics there. But the second half of every chapter has people's real life experiences in the book. The great thing about it is every author in the book is as a Black counselor educator, and I don't know, that's not something I'm sure I've just been done before or not. I'm gonna say it hasn't, but we'll say
Yeah.
it has.
Yeah.
Hasn't. So there's about 12 or 13 of us who came together to make this book. And the beautiful part about it is, there's one on hip hop and mental health. Dr. James Norris, got to give a shout out to him. He's doing some amazing things in this field right now. And so we have all these great authors, Darius Green, so many people who are part of this book. And it's just an amazing book that's coming together. But the beautiful part about it is you get the academic part, you get the personal part, but we said the word mixtape. And so for every
Yes.
chapter of the book, we have a mixtape of songs that go along with it. So one of my chapters I talked about, Black fatherhood. You'll see songs like Dance with My Father, things of that nature. And so you'll be able to have a Spotify playlist that will match up with the book. So as you're listening to the book and reading the book, you also have the Spotify playlist that matches up with it. So it's an amazing project, working with some amazing authors, and some of them are like super well known people. Some of them are people other folks may not know, but they are it, and so that's the reason why they're in this book. So I'm just excited about that. That's coming out, I think spring of 26. So I'm excited about it, very excited about it, and yeah, that could do a whole podcast just on the book. But yeah, it's a
Listen,
good
I want
project.
I want you to come back to do the podcast on the book. This is why we're here. I have a platform, I have a voice, I have a personality, and I'm using it to serve. And you have something that we need. Because imagine 10 years, I'm pretty sure at least 10 years ago, imagine where we were 10 years ago if we had
Yes.
access to that book. Imagine. So, yes, we're going to put it out here. So, y'all heard it here first. Dr. Jones will be back to promote the book and wherever else we're going to go for the next episode. But this is why this podcast is here. I just want to serve. I just want to help. I'm doing what I feel is best. Again, I'm with you. I don't believe in this right and wrong because that's subjective. But what's best? And this is what I've perceived to be best. And for the listeners, as you notice, Dr. Jones got hits, he got bars, he got mixtapes, and he ain't even talking about all of it. I just need y'all to know it's so much that he does, that he's doing, And there's not even enough time to talk about it. So that's why it's important to connect. And for everyone listening, you now have access. That's not always going to be the case because we go in places. And when you go places, everybody can't go with you. This has been another episode of the Three Parallels podcast with your host, D, Dr. Jason Branch, where I help people rediscover who they were, embrace who they are, and make room for who they're trying to become. If that is you, from today moving forward, every Wednesday, I'm hosting a conversation for counselors, counselor educators, helping professionals every Wednesday at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern. We can have brunch or lunch. It's called The Lab. And it's every Wednesday starting next week. And I will see you there. I appreciate you all for listening, for tuning in, for diving in. If this show hasn't been a blessing to you in any way, shape, form, or fashion, give it away. Share it. If Dr. Jones has been a blessing to you, reach out, let him know, give him some flowers, let him know I hear you, I appreciate you, I changed my life because of you. Have a good night. Peace.